Doc, we're here today talking about diabetes, type 2 diabetes in particular.
Yep.
Why are we here exactly, apart from... what's our reason for being here?
Up until now, we've been establishing over the last year or so a program of lifestyle relating to food and exercise for type 2 diabetics that aren't doing as well as they could be.
Yeah, okay. So what does that mean? What does not doing as well as they should do mean? I know from my perspective, we're both in the spectrum, diabetes spectrum. You're pre-diabetic.
Yep.
I'm type 2, diagnosed about 8 years ago.
Yep.
Right? And I wasn't looking after myself, I wasn't looking after the bloods, I was ignoring it.
Yeah.
I was totally ignoring it.
Exactly.
And I didn't know what management meant, bad management meant, good management meant. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew that I had to do something. But what that something was, I wasn't sure. No. I wasn't told.
Yeah. And you were you represented a very typical patient in a GP surgery with a high South Asian population, which is and poorly controlled.
Yeah.
But we want to move the word poorly into the word suboptimal now.
Okay. Right.
And you said, what does it mean? Well, to answer the question, it means, unfortunately, to the government, to the NHS, to the NICE, a number. It does mean just a number at the end of the day, but we'll come to that. And 2 numbers.
So at the end of the day, we are just a number.
We are just a number, unfortunately.
Okay.
And suboptimal means your HbA1c, which is your 3-monthly control.
Yeah.
Historically, what your last 3 months have been averaging is high, and it was high.
Okay.
And it's very high for a lot of our patients.
So what does high mean?
Right.
So what we're looking at high is
different cutoffs. It's what you think in your mind. For example, the diagnosis is made at 48.
Okay.
And if you were happy with 48 for the rest of your life, no problem. Are you happy with 58? Are you happy with 68, 78, 98, 108? This is the problem.
Yeah.
So in your mind, what are your cutoffs? The NHS calls 58 potentially a cutoff for sort of okay, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Or over that, worry about it.
Okay, all right.
The higher, the worse your outcome is to do with your eyes and your kidneys and all that stuff.
So 58 is quite high.
58 and above is suboptimal control.
Yeah. So people who are kind of watching it here now are like, well, I'm 58 plus, I'm 64, 100.
Yeah.
If you're at that point there, so this is the right place to be, because I think what the biggest challenge is, being told that you're type 2, is what do I do and what information do I need to get? And literally I was given a printed out sheet of paper, go off, follow this and do this.
Yeah.
And then that leads to a rabbit warren of stuff basically on that. So what is the functions? What do we need to kind of
the other number, I was going to say there's 2 numbers, remember?
Yeah.
The other number is your weight. Simple as that.
Right, okay.
So it's BMI, so it's your weight in kilos and the HbA1c. I think those 2 are good markers for doing well.
Okay, all right. So how do we start doing well? How do we go from suboptimal management to good management?
Luckily, it can be extremely simple.
Okay.
There's only 2 things: control your weight and your sugars.
So is this the magic pill we're talking about? Is this a magic pill?
It's not even a magic pill. It's food and exercise, and that's it.
As simple as that.
It's as simple as that in terms of it's only 2 words.
Yeah.
But as we have looked at the L of the D of diabetes lifestyle coaching, when you put lifestyle and food and exercise here, unfortunately, it takes over and it's the most complex thing ever. Hence, everyone's struggling with weight and with sugars.
Right. Okay. So, 2 words: food and exercise. Shall we break down the easy one or hard one first? Or they're both easy or both hard?
Well, I think people don't have necessarily, and the message we want to give is, what is the correct food and exercise? Because as we've found out over time, speaking to lots of people, is there is what we don't want is people to have the very incorrect perception of what is the right food.
Okay, yeah.
So the classic one is, I'll say to you, remember, if I say to you brown bread, that's the one, isn't it?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Straight away people say, oh, brown bread, healthy, I'm on it, I'm having 6 slices a day. But
6 slices a day for lunch, breakfast and dinner.
Brown bread is healthy, I've been told that. No.
So the first thing I've noticed in the last 2 years we've been running the DLC program is when people get told that they're diabetic, the first thing they say is, I've stopped eating chocolates, I've stopped eating biscuits, stopped eating sweets.
Lovely.
Because that's the understanding, is that's the sugar
They're
you're
the
eating,
sugars, they're the-
and that's
yeah.
that's affecting it.
Yeah.
What they don't realise is the other parts.
Here it comes,
all
the
right?
magic word.
The magic word.
Carbohydrates.
I'm allowed to say it? Carbohydrates.
Say carbohydrates. Let's not be scared of that word.
And yeah, so carbohydrates. And when we start talking about carbohydrates, people's eyes kind of open up a little bit and still understanding. But human nature is always to find the easy way out.
Yeah.
And I think we've spoken to a lot of people who start finding alternatives.
Yeah.
So white
I
bread,
see.
the alternative to white bread is brown bread. So
bread.
we know that a slice of white bread
Yep.
has about what, 19 to 20 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Brown bread has what, about 16 to 18. So it's the same.
Same or more sometimes. That's the problem.
But it becomes more complex than that, then doesn't it? Because the brown whole wheat one is a slow burn. But it's still carbohydrate.
It's still carbohydrate, and
Yeah.
that very word is the word we wanted to drum into the population of what is a carbohydrate. And as soon as you say that, however, then it leads on to, and this is where the lifestyle thing and the cultural thing comes into it, what do I eat then? Because as soon as you say to someone, essentially, and we're not saying this, is do I have to go keto? And we've never said that. Okay?
No.
We do say low carbs, having said that.
Yeah.
But, and nice doesn't necessarily anymore, but many other places do.
Yeah.
And in terms of reversing your HbA1c and your weight going down and everything, low carbs really, isn't it? That is a message we can't hide. Can't hide.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest challenges is when you're looking at websites and it's NHS website, diabetes websites, you see the recipes that they're pushing out.
Yeah.
And it's still full of
They're not low carb.
carbs.
Yeah.
It's have roti and have naan bread, but have a brown version of it.
Yeah.
Have brown rice or basmati rice instead of long grain rice, and it's marginal. The difference in it is marginal.
They're looking at GI index. I think they're looking at things like how long it stays in your stomach, how it makes you feel full. It's fine. It's complex though, but we just want to make it simpler. In theory.
So we're on food. How do we make the food simpler?
Heard of the diabetic plate?
Diabetic plate. Remind me.
Right, diabetic plate. If you take a plate of food, you split it into, well, in a way, quarters. But only 1/4, therefore a fistful of food should be the carbs.
Okay.
The carbohydrates, which we have said is rice is number 1 on our list.
Rice.
But rotis, and then less potatoes and less so pasta.
Yeah.
For example, that's the 1/4 of the plate per meal.
Yeah.
And strangely, if you or I or anybody did that 3 times a day, we should guarantee almost really, all your money back sort of thing. You guarantee that the HbA1c will go down. Your sugars have to be under control if you did that.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah. The caveat on that is it's not just overnight. It's a long process, right?
No. Well.
Is it?
It's the next 48 hours really, because if I did that, if I was normally having a South Asian plate, a bowl of rice with a bit of curry on top, and I did it immediately the other way around, within 12 to 24 hours, hopefully over time, the liver would get rid of the sugar reserves. I would slowly go down, and then slowly over the next 24 to 48 to 3 days time, you would find that the sugars have gone down, and it'd be amazing. Yes, the HbA1c won't change because that's 3 months. But the sugars, and that was the next, we're probably going to talk about that, aren't we? The measuring of the sugars would go down.
Right.
If I was hovering at the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 all the time, it should be 7 and 8 after.
So that's your daily blood sugars.
Daily blood sugars. Measuring is important. We've said that.
Yeah. So I think that's something we need to address, though, right? The diabetic plate.
Diabetic plate.
What our South Asian community, especially, we're Bengali. And we've come from a line of Bengali healthy eaters, as they say, or taza, and there are kind of some cultural issues around things like that, isn't there? When you go to somebody's house,
can't say no to food.
You can't say no to food. You sit down, you go in to say hi, how you doing? You come out with
tea and biscuits first,
samosas, then dinner, and then you got rice on top of that, and it gets piled on. And when you tell them you're full, they don't understand that because they think you're dissing their food, right?
No.
So. Weight is a big issue. For me, it's always been a lifelong kind of challenge. So at the moment, and we've had the discussion, and I didn't want to do a video.
Fair enough.
Right? But you convinced me to do a video because physically, I am not where I want to be. But I've come a long way.
We've come a long way down, and hopefully, as we've said, we've set markers for ourselves to go further.
And I think
definitely go further.
And I think that's it. And I started doing that diabetic plate. reducing the rice and increasing the protein and increasing the greens
so
and
rice
stuff.
1/4, protein, meat and fish the other 1/4.
Yeah.
And salad and veg the rest of the plate.
Yeah,
all day
absolutely.
long. 3 meals, and that's the shock for most people.
Yeah.
When you say 3 meals, they think, "Hang on a minute, so you get to eat that for breakfast?" You do.
You can if you want to.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So there's no need not to. Whereas breakfast before might have been 2 toasts and an egg, but that 2 toasts is a killer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, right? When we start talking to people and saying, give us your diary plan. So part of our program is we ask people to get a diary program, food diary.
Yeah.
So they can understand, because we come up with things like, oh, I'm not eating all this food, so I should be losing weight. And then when we start writing down the food that we're eating, we start noticing things that we forget to put on there.
Yep.
So like classic thing earlier today.
Yep, tell me.
This is crazy.
I know.
I've been trying to be a calorie deficit, and writing down all my foods and trying to be in a calorie deficit. And I realised that the milk I'm putting in my coffee, I'm not counting.
You weren't, were you? And I said to you this, I said, whenever you do a food diary, if you put a GoPro camera on someone and then you compare it to what they wrote, it's always underestimated. People will always underestimate. And how much extra was the milk, did you say?
All right, so 100 ml milk, which goes into a nice coffee to make it nice and caramel.
And this is coffee, no sugar, so you think you're doing well?
Yeah,
you think you're
absolutely.
doing well?
66 calories per 100 mils.
Ouch.
So I have a lot of coffee during the day.
Ouch.
I'm on between 5 and 8 cups of coffee a day.
So you said that was about 350 calories then?
Yeah, that's about an extra 350 calories that I wasn't thinking about.
Let's straight away bring in exercise. Do you know why? Because I want to now quantify, what does 350 calories of running look like? And it's a lot.
350 calories of...
It's a 5k plus, isn't it? It's over half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is the issue. That one chocolate bar, that one dessert, that thing, I'll run it off, I'll walk it off. No. Exercise does not, unfortunately, unless you're literally more than marathon training, unless you're basically varsity boat race sort of training, 5 a.m. on the river, 10 p.m. 3 hours on the river in the morning, 10 p.m. in the gym for an hour. Then you can have your 6,000 calories all day long. Go for it.
So,
are you doing that? 5 a.m.
I'm not
on the river.
No, I'm not doing 5 a.m. on the river. We don't have rivers where we are.
We've got the river.
Yeah. But I do exercise.
You do exercise.
And
but now you can see where that 300 calories was being just wasted. It's disastrous, in fact, because that exercise, you offset it, is, the half an hour running is hard. The people who've done Couch to 5K know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And it's not that half an hour of running, that 5K, if it is half an hour, I mean, we're at 40 minutes, but still, it's hard. And it doesn't burn enough calories, really. Of course, we talk about HIIT. Tell us about HIIT. Your HIIT journey.
So on exercise, we do HIIT. HIIT is high intensity interval training. It's fast. It's short bursts of energy. You're kind of burning, but you're doing it really quickly to your limit. So if you can push yourself to the limit of your body, what your body can take, and you do it for say 20 seconds on, and then 10-second rest. You repeat that 8 or 9 times for about 7 minutes. I started off doing 7 minutes a day.
Okay.
And that helps. That burns the energy that you got.
It burns a lot of energy, doesn't it? HIIT and or running, but the key, lots of videos talk about the secret weapon, walking. Okay? But you need time. That's why we're talking about HIIT and running, because we don't have time. But people who have time, luckily, go for it. Walk all day long.
The people that we talk to, people who are having trouble managing the diabetes, are time poor.
Well,
time poor in terms of food.
Then it has to be HIIT.
And exercise as well. That's where the food comes in, because rice is quick, right? 15 minutes, you got a portion of rice to
it's
cook.
what you're used to, and
chips, bung them in the oven, 20 minutes, it's done.
Carbs are cheap, carbs are free. They're easy. When you go out to eat, there's only carbs, basically. It's very hard. As soon as you suddenly change your mindset, then there's limited food out there, unfortunately. So that's where the creativity comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all we are aiming to do from our videos, wasn't it, was to give the tools. But the rest comes from yourselves.
Touching back on the exercise. And I think exercise is probably the wrong term to use.
Fair enough.
Because when you say exercise to a lot of people, they start initially thinking gym, get ready, shorts on, get some shorts, get your training shoes on, get your training socks on, and go out and be proper gym bunnies, basically.
No.
NHS and government advice is 20 minutes of activity, moderate activity a day, which basically, and it's really weird, but it means, so you break a sweat enough to perspire, but not profusely sweat, right?
Yeah.
So it's enabled to get your heart rate up and get a little bit out of breath.
And you can break it down. I mean, I think 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. So even in the morning, at lunchtime a break, and then in the evening you can go for 10-minute walks. So that's the end of it. Done. That's half an hour of walking.
So
calories burnt.
Let's change our message from exercise to increase in activity.
Movements,
More movements, more proactivity, running around. So if people are sitting at a desk all day, do some exercises, just walk around. Just walk around for 5-10 minutes just to keep burn that excess energy.
Yeah.
I think what people don't realise is that the carbohydrates, if they haven't got anywhere to go, where do they go?
Right.
It goes into your fat store.
Right.
It sets it out a little bit later. The whole technical aspect of diabetes we don't want to go into because it gets a bit technical and it kind of throws people off a little bit. But sometimes you've got to understand, and we'll do that as time progresses.
Well, YouTube has endless rabbit hole, as you call it, but it's endless videos on fats, on carbohydrates, on everything, in fact. So the science is there. It can be controversial. You might hear opposing views. But we wanted to take this a step back, though. We're not talking about reversing diabetes, which can be done. There is the studies now, go on your 800 calories, that sort of thing. So the proof is there. It can be done. You can reverse things. But we're talking about maybe people that aren't doing just quite so well and that could do better because they're doing the wrong things without knowing. And that's what we really think is a tragedy. That's not right. At least know and then don't do it. But
absolutely.
At least know.
But I think sometimes we do know what we need to do. But we don't do it. We stop ourselves from doing it.
We're the kind of proof of that stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we needed people to make a video for us for the next stage, maybe. But we'll come to that.
That's the mindset part of it, though, right? And that's the one thing that we talk about. And I think talking about mindset, the attitude towards it, how easy it is to change things. And one of the things that we discuss is small changes. So when we're talking about your food, we're not saying, cut everything down by 80, 90, 100%. No. It's take small steps. So if you're having 2 slices of toast in the morning, be it brown or white bread, doesn't matter, reduce it to 1. Yeah. And that's a slow, steady decline in your glucose and in your sugars in the right direction, right? What else? What other small steps can people take?
We didn't talk much about fats and things, but you can switch. You can make smart switches in terms of fats from fully skimmed milk if you're doing that to semi-skimmed or skimmed. But,
so on that, I saw that. So he went. The video I saw was full fat is 66 calories.
Right. I see. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Semi-skimmed is 33 calories.
Right.
Almond milk.
Oh yeah, go on.
And I just can't work out how they milk an almond, but it's like 12 calories for the same amount.
But then comes the concept again of lifestyle, culture, cost.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest
almond milk is like what, $2.89 for a 1 litre.
It's not practical. So in most cases.
But there are options. If it means going from full fat to semi, to it is there. So just small steps work, and especially with exercise. If you're not feeling if you're not feeling the hits, if you're not feeling the walks, if you live in a flat or a house and you've got stairs, walk up and down those stairs in addition to what you're doing already. Just because you're going upstairs to the bathroom and bedroom, that's not exercise. No. It's if you're purposefully doing additional stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The concept of they call it, you'll have to look this one up, NEAT, I think, is the NEAT or something, to do with your net extra calories burnt just from living.
Oh, don't confuse us.
It's very complicated. But it's what you're saying. It's for those who fidget. It's for those people who naturally have a high, and that's the other main way of losing weight. It's not the jogs and things, as we've said, to burn the extra, because you don't burn extra. We've said that it doesn't really come off. But if you're naturally on a daily basis, your normal day burns X amount of calories, you've won the game.
I think we're almost kind of defeating our own object of going down a little rabbit warrens on
well, you can see how complicated it is.
It does get complicated.
Endless tangents, there's endless paths.
But what we want to try and do is simplify it.
But let's simplify and summarise. All right, so go on then. Let's summarise. Come back to the
suboptimal management of your diet.
So you're here because suboptimal management. Maybe your weight's too high and your sugars are too high. What do we do about it?
Reduce the amount of food that we eat.
Reduce, and also just diabetic plate maybe.
And reduce the amount of carbs that you put.
Learn what is a carb and get rid of them as much as you can. And exercise wise,
start increasing your activity levels. Aside from your everyday, add another 5 or 10 minutes onto that. See, I have a problem with the government saying you do some housework and that's extra.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Oh,
So
yeah, I know.
if we can get out and do a walk around the block,
Right.
or walk up and down the stairs.
Yeah,
I tell
yeah,
you
yeah.
what, even we make excuses about absolutely everything. So
Yeah,
my fitness journey started about 3 or 4 years ago, just before lockdown.
Pandemic, yeah.
And I always made excuses about not being able to do any exercises because I had a pain in my knee.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, you had really bad pains. I remember that.
Pains in the knees, remember that?
Yeah.
Broke my foot
Yes.
just before. Like, let's go, Jim. I can't. I'm working. So I started doing squats for 3 months.
Yep.
20 squats
Yeah.
a day, and that helped fix my core, which fixed my knee, which fixed my foot.
Yeah.
Remember my first run with you guys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A couple of 100 meters. Well, not even a couple of 100 yards. But
Yeah, it was. I was sweating. I was
30
out of
seconds,
breath.
and then we had to sit on the bench, and that was the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But now, over a period of 2 years or 3 years,
Well, what did you do last year? To the year?
to the year,
Where is it?
it's there. The half marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, managed to get the half marathon. Got a decent time. 3.5 hours.
There we go. There's your,
All my medals.
there's your medals.
But it came with
That's 13 miles. You did 13 miles. So
it came with small steps though. It came with walking the first mile.
Yep.
Not on the marathon day, but
No.
in the training,
Yeah.
walking the first mile, resting,
Yep.
increasing that, doing some more HIIT exercises,
Yep.
doing some kind of quick fast walks, treadmill, anything that I could do to get active.
Yeah.
And you build up on it, really slowly you get to where you need to get to.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
I feel like we've both got a while to go.
Oh, I've got a long way
We've got
to
a
go.
long way to go, which
Yeah.
is great. But that didn't stop us from saying, let's get there, then make this video. We thought, let's just do it.
Let's do it. No,
'cause we've got a bit of information, we've got a bit of knowledge. Let's get it out there while we're on the journey too of reducing our BMIs and our sugars and everything.
Yeah, just to kind of, yes, I'm still a little bit overweight. Technically, I'm obese by government standards.
Yeah.
But in terms of my HbA1c,
Yeah.
I've come down from my highest point, which is 11.
Okay. 11%.
11%,
Yeah.
or which in new money, it's 100. It's about 100, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah. But now I'm at 6.4.
Oh, so therefore...
We're at about 58.
Yeah, 6 months.
So almost on the
less than... Yeah. Very good.
just on the cusp, but I'd like to get it down to
keep going.
5.4.
Yeah.
Or 42 or something like that.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
well, non-diabetic, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my aim, but it doesn't come easy.
This is where
Well-
the lifestyle change.
Yep.
We haven't cracked the code yet. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
trying.
Yeah.
Because it isn't a diet. Everyone will say this, and we will always say it as well. Even though we do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We will still do it and go on the diet, but it's not supposed to be. It
Yeah.
really, really has to somehow be a lifestyle change.
Yeah. We don't believe in diets. I don't believe in diets. I haven't
They're
been on a
short term.
diet.
They work. Yes, we've all done it, and we've done it short term, and we've gone our weights all the way down. But then they definitely bounce back up. It's got to be a lifestyle change, sustainable. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So just a quick recap on that then.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about your food intake.
Food.
Be aware of what you're eating, what you're taking in. Reduce what you can.
Yep.
Increase your activity levels from fast walking. If you can do HIIT, you can do HIIT. If you've got other ails and conditions, bad back problems, heart problems, those kind of things, consult your doctor first, right? Talk to your doctor, tell them you're thinking about doing increasing your activity levels, and they'll guide you on that. Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
So focus on those things, and hopefully you can start seeing a better improvement on that. The other thing, I think, is start thinking positive about it. Don't resign yourself to the fact that you're going to take medicine for the rest of your life.
No.
We don't want that.
Not at all.
We want you to come off that. We want you to kind of be focused on a good lifestyle.
Yep.
Yeah. And then as we go on, future kind of conversations that we're going to have and start discussing, we will start talking about food and how to manage that. What is the right foods to eat? What are the wrong foods to eat? When I first got told about my diabetes,
Yep.
I went healthy. Bang! I went healthy, and I was eating all the right foods as I thought.
Yeah, go on.
All right.
So-called healthy.
Healthy.
Go on.
Government
Right.
recommendations: five a day, right?
Okay.
Fruits.
Oh, yeah.
I was on mangoes. I was on oranges.
Oh,
I was
dear.
on pineapples. Like, yeah, this is healthy, right?
Yeah.
But 5 a day.
Yeah, it's 5 a day.
Mixed messages.
Mixed messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went back to my doctor. She's like, "You made it worse, dude. What are you?"
Yeah. What are you doing? You said, I went healthy, but no.
No.
You can't have smoothies. You can't go
Yeah.
crazy. Unfortunately, so-called healthy is a redefine healthy, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we've got to redefine healthy for our individual lives and lifestyles, right?
Yeah.
What does healthy mean for individual is going to be different.
Absolutely.
don't go protein shakes. Don't go any of these fatty diets. Let's just work on it one step at a time.
Diabetic plate 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And hit. Oh, as I said to you, the gold standard, if there was such a thing.
Is
I would like to think
you're talking about magic pill again, aren't you?
Yeah, or not a recipe, a prescription. So I suppose that's the way I think. A prescription of diabetic plate 3 times a day and hit once a day. That's what I'm saying. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And play around with that. But that's the prescription, and that would guarantee your blood sugars to come down and everything to go the right way. I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll
catch up on the next video.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for watching.